Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Middle of November, so time to look at all the pens that I've got inked up that aren't in my EDC. Just a very quick look at each of the pens. We'll start with the Platinum Preppy. Cheapest pen I've got inked up at the moment, $8 Aussie. Very light feeling, it's a plastic pen, it's a cheap pen. Doesn't write like that though, writes lovely. Here we've got the 05 nib, so this is very similar to a medium. So we've got here a Platinum, Preppy, say it's an 05, and the ink is by Lamy, part of the Crystal series. It's Obsidian. This is my sacrificial black ink pen for the month. And to be honest, the amount of black ink I use, it might be there as a sacrificial black ink pen for quite a while before it runs out. Next up, from Jinh How, we've got a Jinh How 100 Centennial. This is in the meteorite pattern. One of the first Jinh How 100s I bought, really like it. It's got a medium nib, and this is a cartridge converter. That Preppy, I know I didn't say, it will take cartridges, but I've actually eyedropped it. So we've got here Jinh How 100 with a medium Jinh How nib. The ink in here is by SHAER, and it's Terre de Fouet. And this pen was $15 Aussie. And that now believe they're about 25, but when I bought it, it was only 15. I say, nice looking pen. I love the Jinh How 100 series. I've got about 5 of them now. And this SHAER ink, don't use it very often, but it's a nice, like a reddy brown colour. Up next, we're actually going back to Japan, which is where the Platinum was from. This is a Natami Inception. This is in sky blue. Again, it's another very nice coloured pen. Cartridge converter again. There we go. And this has got a fine nib. Fairly new pen to my collection still. Still enjoying using it though. So this is the Natami Inception. The nib on this is very nice. The only thing I don't like it's fine. I would prefer a broader nib. I may try swapping nibs at some time. The ink in here is by Diamine, and it's Eau de Nil. This pen, we're taking a jump in price. It was $26 Aussie. I do like this ink. I think it's a good match, and although it's a blue colour, it's a fairly unusual blue colour. So that was the Natami Inception. Next up, I've got another Jinh How 100. This is the skeleton version. Transparent body, so you can actually see through there to where I've got that converter. This one, extra fine nib. Now, when I first inked this up, I thought extra fine. I don't think I like that, but I'm surprised how much I quite enjoy the nib. Then we've got a converter that comes with it. It's nice, it's lightweight. I say part of that Jinh How 100 series that I like. So we've got a Jinh How HAO, isn't it? 100. I'm going to say here this is a skeleton. And it's got an extra fine nib. The ink is by Diamine. And it's Blaze Orange. I inked this up for Halloween. It was a first impressions for Halloween. And I thought, skeleton, yeah, Halloween. Blaze Orange, nearest I've got to a Halloweeny orangey colour. The price for this pen, $27 Aussie. As I say, the Jinh How 100s now seem to be in about that $25 to $27 range. But still a nice pen. So the Jinh How 100 Skeleton. We've now got the Maron M600S. Very similar shape to what we were seeing with that previous pen, with that Jinh How 100. Both of them very much similar to the Parker Centennials. So there they were, just to have a quick comparison. Love the colouring on this. I've had this a couple of years. It's gorgeous colouring. I do keep thinking about getting another one, but they are a bit more expensive than the Jinh How 100. So I actually tend to buy a Jinh How 100 whenever I fancy a pen in this shape. Another cartridge converting pen. So we've got here a Maron. So we had a little bit of an issue there with the ink flow. We just scribble off. This pen is nearly out of ink, so hopefully I've primed the feed and hopefully we'll get enough. So it's the Maron M600S. And this has got a medium nib. The ink in here is, no, it's not got a medium nib. It's got a Tigerloo long knife KLK nib. The ink in here is by Colorverse. And it's Albert. The price for this pen is 35 Aussie dollars. So generally about $10 more than a Jinhua 100. So I have changed the nib on here. So I've got this long knife, a little bit like an architect, but to be honest, it's very, very subtle. This pen though, out of ink. So into the pot it goes. I've got the pot just up there. That's going to be cleaned out. Up next, one of my standard size comparison pens. This is the Lamy Safari. It's one of those pens I love to hate. I don't know what it is about it. It's not that it's a bad pen. It's not that it doesn't write well. There's just something about it that I just don't like, and I've never been able to work out exactly what it is. It's not the grip section, which is this triangular section, because I've got a Lamy AL Star, virtually the exact same shape, but made with aluminium rather than plastic, and I really enjoy that. It's just weird. So we've got here a Lamy Safari. You can see it's a lovely writer. This is a broad nib, and the ink is by Robert Oster. Got nice feedback, and the colour is light green, but there's just something about it. Price for this, 37 Aussie dollars. But bear in mind, you have to buy the converter separately. Most of my other pens come with the converter. This one, it doesn't. So there's another $10 to $15 for the converter on top of that. So that was the Lamy Safari. We're going back to Maron. So this is the Maron P136. This pen is a piston filling pen. So obviously I'm not going to work the mechanism. You would twist this, that would push the piston down, dip it in the ink, twist it back, and that draws the ink up into the barrel. There is an ink window, very difficult to see. You can just about see there, then black stripes, that's the actual ink window. So it's not a solid window, it's a partial window. Still enough to get an idea how much ink is in there. The nib on here, this is a fine nib. And it's another nib, very nice to write with. So this is a Maron P136. I'm assuming the P stands for piston, but that might just be a guess. Fine nib. And the ink in here is another one by Herban. And it's Eclat de Saphir. Nice, yeah, sapphire, so slightly hints of purple, maybe violet rather than purple with the blue. Looks very nice though. This one is another pen that's 37 Aussie dollars. Very, very nice. We're going for another pen which reminds me a lot of that Parker Centennial series. This is the Hongdian N8. This is Flying Feathers, so it's white. Then we've got this silver. I think it's an inlay. It might be stuck on there. You can actually feel there is a difference in the surface. You can feel, I think it's actually inlaid, but that's just me guessing there. This one is another one. It's a cartridge converter. There's a cartridge. The body is slightly translucent, so you can sort of see the converter. I've got to be honest, I don't like that. I would rather it be more the solid white than this translucent white. I think it just looks odd. I'm being picky. That's just my personal view. The nib on here is a medium nib. There's a Hongdian medium nib. So we've got here a Hongdian N8 with a medium nib. That's the beauty of these white pens. You can put any ink you want in it without having to worry about matching. The ink in here is by Colorverse, and it's Hubble. Love the colour of this ink. I've got to be honest, I really enjoy most of the Colorverse inks. They're just very expensive to buy here in Australia. This pen, 41 Aussie dollars. So that's the Hongdian N8. For the next couple of pens, we're staying with this white theme. These are pens that I actually used in a video where I focused on white coloured pens. Next up, we've got the CCO Sport. This is the coconut or white coconut or coconut ice. I can never remember, but it's got coconut in there anyway. What I've actually done is I've eyedroppered this. So I did put a little bit of silicone grease around the threads on the bottom of the barrel, put the ink into the barrel and then sealed it up. You can see, hopefully on the camera, you can see the ink there sloshing around. So you've got an idea of how much ink is in there. It does use cartridges. It does use a converter. I just decided that I would eyedropper it this time. We've got a 1.1 stub nib on it. Really nice nib. This is a pocket pen, so it's designed to be used posted. When you post it, very nice size in the hand. So we've got CCO Sport. I say this is a beautiful nib to write with. 1.1. The ink in here is by Robert Oster. And it's Grun Gilt. So it's like a greeny gold coloured ink, and it's also got a very, very nice gold shimmer to it. The price for this pen is 41 Aussie dollars. I really enjoy using this. This is a pen I just chuck in my pocket whenever I'm going out. I've got a little B7 notebook. They just both go in my pocket. I've always got something to write with. Not sure if it'll show up, but hopefully I can see it with my eye. Hopefully it'll come over on the camera. Just try orientating it here. Got loads of that gold shimmer coming through. Again, we're staying with white. This is a Pen BBS 456. Vacuum filling pen. I don't know why, I've never been able to get the mechanism to work. So what I did is I poked out the little plunger and I just eyedropper fill this. So I unscrew the section and then put the ink in from there. One of the downsides I see with this, I don't know why, it dries out extremely quickly. I'm expecting this not to write, but let's have a try, shall we? Also, this white pattern is very nice on here. So look, there we go, it doesn't write. What I have to do is usually a couple of shapes like that. Let's try again. It doesn't want to work for me today. There we go. I gave it some really violent shaking. A few times like that. Now we've got it right in. So this is the Pen BBS 456. It's got a fine nib. Although it's a fine nib, I think it's a very generous fine nib. The ink in here, see again, we've got an issue. We've run out of ink. It's dried out. The ink in here is by Colorverse. And it's Hubble Zoom. And the price for this pen, 70 Aussie dollars. And again, it stopped writing. So a couple of shakes. And there we go. Now, although this is full of ink, because of this issue with it continually drying out, and part of the reason for doing these videos is for me to check all my pens, I'm really not comfortable with it. That's going in the pot to be cleaned out. What's the point in having a pen inked up if you're going to have nothing but problems with it, if it's going to take you out of doing what you are there to do, which is get ideas out of your head and onto paper? If you're not enjoying it, if you're having to continually shake it or do things to get it to write, waste of time. So that'll be washed out, that'll go away. And to be honest, not 100% sure, may never come out again. Or I may get into the mood and try to fix it. But at the moment, with all the other pens I've got, happy for this to go away. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. You know, would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. Up next, we've got the TWSBI Diamond 580. This is just the all clear version. Love this pen. Piston filling pen. Piston mechanism takes up about maybe a third of the barrel, so you do lose that for ink capacity. obviously not going to twist the mechanism. I love that we've got this clear section. I love seeing the ink flowing around. The ink on here, this is a broad nib. So we've got here a TWSBI Diamond 580 with a broad nib. The ink in here is by Octopus, and it's petrol. Make sure I spell this right. Axolotl. Price wise, we're talking 85 Aussie dollars. I've had this pen for quite a while. I love using this pen. I'm not going to say it's always inked up, but I would say more than 50% of the time this is inked up. Interesting to see how this ink goes, because it's a waterproof ink. So I've got to be careful and make sure I don't let it dry out too much, because it will be a pain in the butt to try and clean that out. So that was the TWSBI Diamond 580. The next pen, I'm going to start giving you some hints for next month's Pens in Use theme. This is the NOWALL Schuylkill in Porpita Navy. Love the colours. We've got mainly blues, but we've got browns, we've got bits of yellow in there. Even like some orangey browns. Very nice pen. Another piston filler. It's got an ink window. Obviously not going to work that piston knob. I'm being picky. I would like the ink window to have been wider, but that's just me. I do struggle seeing these small ink windows. We've got on here a medium NOWALL nib. So we've got NOWALL, NOWALL, Schuylkill, which is medium. In here, Diamine Ruby Blues. The cost for this pen is 92 Aussie dollars. Nice ink. It's got a gorgeous red sheen to it. Not sure if it's dry enough to actually see that. Yeah, I can see that red sheen starting to come out, especially in the first couple of words that have been drying a little bit more there. So that's the NOWALL Schuylkill. Next up, we're going to a SHAER pen. This is the SHAER Prelude. Nice, really good looking pen. You know, we've got this matte black, then we've got pop with hints of gold. Cartridge converter pen. There we've got the converter. Let's fasten this one down. The ink in here, the nib on this isn't a standard SHAER nib though. This is a Mr. Pen or italics nib, and this one is a medium cursive nib. Still getting used to using this nib because I'm really playing around now with nib choices, so obviously it takes a while to get used to different nibs. Nice fit in the hand, does feel a little bit on the short side, but not unusably so. So we've got here a SHAER that doesn't want to write. Let me just see if I can get this right in. So I didn't want to write at first. What I've done is I've primed the feed, so I just worked that converter a little bit. So let's see, we've got a SHAER. Make sure I spell this right. Started wrong. S-H-A, SHAER Prelude with a cursive nib, and that's a medium cursive. I'll put a little M there as well. The ink in here is by Robert Oster, and it's Cafe Crema, one of my favourite brown inks. This pen, you're looking at 94 Aussie dollars. The guy that makes these nibs, Mr. Pen, he's now, I believe he's retired now, or if he hasn't gone just yet, he will be soon. So these are going to become harder to get. So that's a SHAER Prelude. We're going to go now and we're going to jump to the pens that I've got that are over $100. I'll leave a line so we can see the difference between them. So the first pen, Ranga Santa. Again, bit of a hint for next month. December, going to be all about the Inkvent inks, but obviously when I've got a Christmas themed pen, got to use it. And you can't get more Christmassy than a Ranga Santa, can you? Absolutely lovely. Cartridge converter, but all resin material, so if you really wanted to, you could eyedropper it. I don't intend to, I just use that cartridge converter. The nib, the Yoho nib, 1.1 stub. So we've got here a Ranga Santa with a 1.1 nib. The ink in here is by Diamine. As I said, it's an ink vent ink, so got to be by Diamine. And it's all the best. The price for this pen is $145. Bit pricey. I bought it December last year because it was a Christmassy type pen. I actually think it's good value. Now, hopefully with this ink, you can see we've got that red base. It's got loads and loads of gold sheen to it. And then, don't really see it, but there is, maybe there on the upstroke of the A, there's a blue shimmer as well. But accidentally, certainly I didn't think about this. And when I realised what I'd done, I thought, oh dear me. But it might change as we go through December. The next pen has got the self-same ink in it. So the next pen is by Benu. This is a Benu Talisman in Dragon's Blood. It's another pen. It's a Christmas pen to me. You got the red and you got that green of like tinsel coming out in that. Another one, cartridge converter. The nib on this is a broad nib. It's a Schmidt nib. Very nice nib. I love writing with this pen. Section is a little bit on the thin side, but when you're writing with it, it more than makes up for that. So we've got here a Benu Talisman with a broad nib. And the ink, as I say, is by Diamine, and it's all the best. The price for this pen is 167 Aussie dollars. Now, as I say, it was an accident that I've got two of the same ink in two pens. But in a way, it'd be nice because it'll allow me to do a little bit of a comparison as the month goes on, looking at the two. So again, we can see there, with that Schmidt nib there on the Benu, got a gorgeous red base, got that golden sheen. But on this one, I do see a lot more of the blue shimmer. So here, M, I, and N has got a load of blue. The M and the A and the bottom of the S has got a load of that blue. So that's going to be interesting to compare maybe how the shimmer comes out between the two of them. Up next, one of my Australian handmade pens. This is the That Pen Bloke fountain pen. Beautiful, gorgeous material. One of my newer pens. Absolutely love the colouring on this. It's another one. It's a cartridge converter. There we go. Again, all resin. So if you were feeling brave and wanted to, you could possibly eyedropper it. I don't intend to. Nice lengthy section on this. I do like the section. It's got a nice length to it. A little bit thin, but it's usable. And then on here, I've got a Yoho, and it's a broad nib. So it's That Pen Bloke. If you don't already, go onto Instagram. His account is That Pen Bloke. Well worth following. Broad nib. The ink is Robert Oster Cafe Crema. So my second pen this month with this ink in it. The price for this pen is 190 Aussie dollars. Then there was postage on top of that. But I will be honest, worth every cent. Absolutely love this. And I love this Cafe Crema ink. It's the first ink I've had in here, but it looks and works so well together. I've got a couple of other brownish inks I will try eventually, but absolutely love this as a combo. So that's the That Pen Bloke pen. My final pen. This is by Conlin. This is the Conlin All American, and this is the Courage version, and it's the white version. See here, we've got the Conlin All American details. Very pretty. Another one, we've got a cartridge converter. Now, one of the things I've noticed with this, I think it's the converter leaks. As you can see here, we've got ink all in the way inside. Let me just fetch in a tissue. There you can see, I'll just wipe that off. Get rid of that excess ink. So I think it's the actual converter that is leaking. The converter screws in. I do have another All American. What I'm going to do when the ink in this is finished, I'm going to try swapping over the converters and see if that fixes the issue. The other All American I don't use because it was the wooden version and it just dries up so quickly. I'm just using that same tissue and I'm trying to get right down to the bottom to try and get any excess ink out. A bit difficult to do, but you can see there. Let me just try with a Q-tip. Just want to try and get, hopefully, no, even the Q-tip is a little bit on the small side, hardly goes down to the bottom. I say once this is finished, I'll be giving that a good clean and then trying a different converter. The ink on here is a Conlin nib made by Yoho. I love the black with this white. It looks really nice. So we've got here a Conlin All American. Got that broad nib. And the ink, it's by Diamine. And it's Spiced Apple. These pens, they're approximately 194 Aussie dollars. So that's the Conlin All American. So this is the pens that I've got inked up during November of 2023 that aren't in my currently inked. So let's just get them all on there. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 17 pens. That's down from a couple of months ago when it was something like 35. My aim is still reduce it a little bit more. I'd love to get down to under 10. Don't know if it'll happen, but that's my target. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. What pens have you got inked up? What inks have you got? Have you got any favourite inks that you want to get into pens? Why not drop a comment down below? Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.